Hey everyone, today I want to talk to you about the single biggest time-saving activity you can implement into your lives. So it's a lovely sunny Wednesday morning, and Wednesday I talk about business systems and outsourcing. And basically what I want to talk to you today is how you can make the biggest time-saving adjustment in your life. Well, it's not easy, and it's quite a complex one to outsource, but when you understand how to do it and you see the compounding impact of how much time you get back every single day, it's something that you'll think, why did I never do this before? So, disclaimer, it's not click a button and it works. You have to work at it, but it does make a huge, monumental difference in terms of the amount of time you save every day. And for me, it's the biggest time-saving activity by a mile for me. So everything else I outsource, and I outsource pretty much everything, it's the one that gives me the best return on time. So here you go, right. So I'll give you a little bit of framework how you do a little test before you do this. If you do any time tracking, and I think I've touched on time tracking on different episodes, and the benefits of doing so and how you can track and measure things. Well, this is one of the first things you should consider doing. Now, I get that time tracking might not be something you want to do for the long term, and that's absolutely fine. But what I do think you should do is time track for at least a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks is probably minimum. If you do it for a couple of weeks, you get enough data and enough information which will tell you how you spend your time. And when I say time track for a couple of weeks, time track your whole day. So including time with family, when you eat, when you sleep, all that side of things for 2 weeks. That will give you a true account of where you spend your time. And be specific, okay, with what you do. And then once you've got that data, you might decide that you love time tracking and you want to put some automation into it and you want to do it on an ongoing basis. Like I say, you can do time tracking pen and paper or as apps or as technical as you want to get it. But the key concept is the same. You basically state what you do and what time you do it and how long you spend each of those periods. So really, really important. And then when you've done it, you can basically look at the data and categorize things into groups. So the similar tasks are in groups. So when you've done that, you can establish the stuff you spend your time on. And anything that's simple, but you're spending quite a high level of frequency, is generally the stuff you try and get rid of first. That's the typical way you outsource to get the best return on your time invested to starting your outsourcing journey. However, the hack is, if you're feeling confident, you can tackle the part of your daily life that takes up the most of your time, however complex that task is. Now, if you're not kind of that way inclined or technically minded or organised that type of way, then this might be something that's quite challenging, so stick to the simple stuff first. But if you are completely on board with outsourcing, you understand the basics of how to do it, take this one on because the compounding return will be infinite. So really, really important you do that. Okay, so when I did this task, my discovery was pretty frightening, really. I mean, I have been a productivity student for so long, so I'm just going to go past someone here. So that's he's got earphones, it's all right. I'll carry on talking and not sound weird. I'll just say good morning. Morning. So when I did this, the results were really concerning actually, because I thought I was super productive. My mantra is work smart, not hard, path of least resistance, all these taglines that I kind of use to kind of reinforce my views and how I make decisions. But when I did it, I found out that 75% of my working time was taken up in 3 areas. And the 3 areas were emails or inbound comms, so text-based inbound comms, text messaging, emails, social media messaging, that sort of things, phone calls, or talking with my team, So I bolted those together. And the last one was sorting my to-do lists and planning. And, I've studied so many different books, Getting Things Done, Eat That Frog, The One Thing, The Compound Effect, all these productivity books on how to structure your workload and prioritize and get more done with less time, all this stuff. And I was wasting a significant portion of my time sorting my to-do list, not actually doing any of the activity on it. So very, very quickly, I realised that these three things is 75% of my working life, which is scary. So reactive. Phone calls, speaking to the team. Well, speaking to the team might be more proactive, but emails, social media messaging, all that stuff inbound, reactive. And sorting my to-do list. So however good my to-do list can be, if I'm not ticking stuff off it, there's a big debate on to-do lists, and I'll talk to you about my views on that in future episodes. But I wasn't even ticking stuff off. I was actually moving stuff around and prioritising it, making it pretty, etc. So, pretty alarming. So, but when I crunched deeper, actually sorting my to-do list was only about 20%, which is still a staggering amount. But, the other 55% of my time was on inbound comms. So I categorised it all as inbound comms. So here's the light bulb moment, guys. Inbound comms, I would be amazed. And I've worked with around 120, 130 clients, maybe more if I've lost count. And I've seen all of their time trackers. And every single time I do this with clients, I always find 3 to 5 things which constitute 50 to 75% of their time. And pretty much in every case, inbound comms in some capacity is a top time drain on you, which is why I'm saying this in such a fairly bold statement. So how do we outsource our comms? Okay, well, there's a couple of things. You have to look at the funnel. If you think of the funnel, the top of the funnel where everything kind of filters in before it gets to you. Okay, and at the moment, stuff you generally react to will probably be in one of these categories. You might get posts that comes in and needs to be sorted. You might get emails. You might get social media messaging. You might get phone calls. Or you might get interruptions from members of your team. They're kind of the 5 big ones. There might be a couple of others specific to your business, but generally speaking, that will cover the vast majority of your inbound communications. And then you look at how much you spend in each one. So it might be that email's massive for you, or it might be that social media's massive for you. And just look at where you spend the most of your time. And you can either start with that first if you're feeling brave, or you can start with the one that's taking least your time to get used to the process in the system, how you outsource this stuff, and then move on to the next. So it's up to you how you take it on. However, when you take it on, it's actually far simpler than you think. Because all you have to do is consider what you do with all this information that comes in. And whether you like it or not, you have this inbuilt rules process, rules structure in your mind of what you do with any inbound communication. Whether you file it away, whether you delete it, whether you archive it, whether you remove yourself from the list, whether you respond to it, whether you send it to the accountant, whether you send it to another member of your team, you have that ingrained in your mind. And you probably subconsciously don't realise that. But you do, because you're dealing with it all anyway. So all we have to do is extract that information and get it in a tangible format so that somebody else can manage this for you, or the bulk of it. Morning. So I know that sounds quite a lot to consider, and how do I do it? Well, it's the first and foremost, there is a degree of automation that you can apply. So emails, for example, you have filters and automatic rules and stuff that you can apply. So if an email comes in, it can automatically be filed in a folder. It can be forwarded to somebody depending on what the email domain is or what the email address is. Those types of things. So I can talk to you in more detail about this in a separate episode, but obviously I use G Suite, so I'm Gmail ingrained, so I know Gmail pretty well and how to set everything up like that. The other thing you want to consider with email is if you've got multiple emails or alias accounts, which again I'll go through in a bit more detail on another episode. And you want everything coming into one inbox. Otherwise, it becomes a nightmare logging out and logging into other ones, etc. And if you've got it all into one, you can create all the rules in one account rather than having to do it in multiple. So really, really important. But then what you do is you look at, once you've got the automation side of it done, that will clear a chunk, okay? So as you start clearing it, but you can add the automation a bit later. Ideally, you want to have somebody in your team, and I always recommend the first person you recruit, if you haven't got a member of staff in your team, is a PVA. It sounds like PVA glue, but it's personal virtual assistant. And the reason for that is, A, the virtual assistants are far more affordable than bringing in a UK member of staff. You'll be able to get someone full-time somewhere between £2.50 and £4.50 an hour. It's absolutely not slave labour. And I know people say that. It's actually, the upper end of that scale is high earnings for that type of role in their economy. And I'm talking predominantly the Philippines here. I have recruited from other areas, but the Philippines I've had by far the best results from. So it's not a slave labour or anything like that. And what you find when you speak to virtual assistants, when you work with them for a time, and I've recruited probably or worked with 20 or more over the years, so I have a fairly good set of data to kind of base this on. And the feedback is amazing. The lifestyle you're giving them, the fact they can work from home around families, etc., is amazing. So you actually make a difference to people's lives in a positive way, which is something people are quite scared of in terms of, oh no, this is unethical. It's absolutely not. So that's an obstacle that you need to try and overcome. So get a PVA because A, it's affordable, and I've got to be very careful what I say here from a generalised perspective. This is just my experience. I've had 9-10 members of staff over the years from the UK, and probably 20 or so from the Philippines. Now they're not all with me, so some have come and gone and some are still with me. But when I compare the two, I get, this is a pretty bold statement, but I get somewhere between 250 and 300% more productivity out of my team in the Philippines than I do out of my UK team. Now, that's contrary to the rule, and I do have members in the UK in my team now, and they're amazing, and I wouldn't replace them for the world. But I'm talking about past employees that or contractors that I've had involved, and I'll give you some stories about some things that happen in the business in different episodes. So get the PVA in, and the reason that's so important is that you've then got somebody who can use the analogy of the typical entrepreneur will go out and find opportunities, solve problems, disrupt situations, and morning again. And when you do that, you generally may have a ripple effect. So you create a load of chaos. If you've got nobody to come behind you to sweep it up and tidy up the mess that you make, it leads to huge amounts of work and overwhelm and stress on the entrepreneur. So the analogy is this PVA is someone who's going to follow you and do everything you do, but sweep up the mess that you make. So it's quite a cool analogy. I hope it resonates well with you. But what you're going to do with that PVA is you're going to give them delegate access to your comms. Now, you might want to do this after a period of time of working with someone to get their trust, or you might need to look at what level of data you have going into your various accounts. But with things like G Suite, you can give delegate access, and you can put certain levels of protection in place. But ultimately, it's rare that you get super confidential stuff coming into your email. And what we do with our VAs is get them to sign data sharing agreements. So that protects us from a GDPR perspective, and also means that they can't use the information they were accessed by working with you for themselves. So there's things you can put in place, but ultimately it is an element of risk, and some people are just against this, which is absolutely fine. But for me, the upside is a million times better than the downside. So I commit to it. And then what you do, you create a rules spreadsheet. Now what you do is you basically draw a line in the sand, and this is a leap of faith. Most of you have probably got inboxes with thousands of unread or emails sitting in your inbox. I have 0 every day because I have someone managing it for me. And it takes a little while to get there. But all you do is you give access to your PVA, and they basically log or forward. You can either log it in the spreadsheet, which they will do anyway for their rule sheet, or you can forward it into some project management software like Asana, into a separate project. And in that place, you give rules for each of these email addresses. Now, it might sound complex. Once you've given it a rule, and the spreadsheet's updated that the PVA works from, and technically you'll never see an email from that sender again, because the PVA will action it based on the rule you've set. And you can be pretty complex with rules and as detailed as you want, but start simple. I mean, my rules are basically, forward to bookkeeper for a certain account, a company, forward to another bookkeeper for a different company. I have forward to different members of staff based on their roles, based on the domain that comes in. I have archive, I have unsubscribe. I have for your information, which is all marketing related stuff that I usually access when I'm offline, on a train or traveling of some kind, but I don't want to have it clutter me up. So that's for your information. And I have a Asana tag, which is stuff I always want to see. And to put it in perspective, I have over 500 odd emails coming in a day, and I see maybe 5 to 7 of them. That's the kind of ratio you can get down to. So what was taking me, what was taking me hours and hours every day, that takes me a few minutes, maybe 15 minutes a day to keep on top of. So you think of the compounding impact of that alone. And the same principle applies for social media and stuff. I mean, obviously, depending on the volume, and it depends on the business. If you're in a personalised space where you want to have conversations, engage with people, don't outsource your social media communication, because you want to have that level of personalisation. But if you're prospecting and using it as a sales tool, you can create templates, canned responses, snippets. So basically, you have a set number of messages for each situation that get saved into a playbook, and then the PVA can respond on your behalf in your tone. It takes a bit more complex to get right, but again, it's something building over time. As new messages come in, you'll build your playbook of responses, and then the PVA, when checking, will say, "Can I send this one?" To start with, you just approve it, or say no and amend it, and then gradually they'll get more experience doing it, and they'll be able to do it on your behalf without your involvement. Same with post. We all have smartphones with OCR scanning technology within it. I'll talk to you about these in more detail on another episode. Scan the post in one go, but first of all, be ruthless. Do you need to keep it, or can you just scrap it and bin it? If it's something that needs to be kept, you want record of, scan it, and then forward it into your Asana project, and let your PVA separate the PDF into individual things and file them where you need to based on rules. And similar principle with phone calls. You can outsource your phone calls and basically just get your VA to pick up how can I help if you've got multiple companies coming into one number. And then you can create a call logging system whereby it's a message taking system ultimately, and then you'll build up a playbook of responses. Then as more and more calls come in, you'll be able to deal with it without your involvement. So again, it's all super easy. I mean, eventually I'll share some templates I use for all this stuff. But this is all new to me, and I'm still finding my feet in the vlog side of things. So I will start putting lots of free templates and stuff that you can all use, and hopefully find it useful. But the final one, same principle: inbound comms for your team. Just build up an F&Q, or knowledge base in your business. So every time you get a query come in, record a video of you responding to it, and then put it into the knowledge base and share the knowledge base with people. It could be a simple shared drive or something in G Suite or cloud-based storage you share with your team. Whenever they've got a query, the first thing they do is keyword search in that folder. You can host it in Asana. Loads of different places you can do it, but the principles still stay the same. So hopefully I've given you a really high-level overview on how to outsource inbound comms. I guarantee you it will be the single most, or if not very close to the top time-saving activity you can ever do. So any questions, drop me a line, comment, share, engage with me, please. That's how I can get this message out to more people if you think it's useful. And finally, please, if you can, share my link to my Facebook group, because that's where ultimately I'm going to be recording. I'm ultimately going to be hosting my episodes first, and then I'll be sharing them on my other feeds behind, a bit further behind in the schedule. So people that are in the group, and I know that they're the people that want to see my stuff, will get it first. So that's what I'm doing. It's not going to be salesy, I promise you that. There may, just for transparency, there may be email collection when I give out stuff, just so that I can send people reminders. So when I do new episodes, etc. But this isn't about making a sale. This is about giving you free value and content for 365 days in a year, and I'll continue if people want me to, because it helps me with my running journey. So thanks a lot, guys. Hope you find it useful. Stay happy, stay positive, and I'll speak to you very later.